Hey guys, welcome back. I got a new toy, and as I do for all my new toys, I had to share it with you guys. This is the NewAir Stone Brewing Arrogant Bastard 125 can cooler, and it is huge. Okay, so this is me standing next to it. It's basically the size of like half of an actual refrigerator, half of a big refrigerator. So this thing's got a bunch of cool features, and it's going to replace my yeast fridge, but also serve as a party fridge as well. Don't worry, my yeast fridge is going to a good home with my beer wife, Mel, and, you know, she's got a baby and a lot of beer and a very tiny refrigerator. So it's going to go to good use. So this fridge has a bunch of cool features that I will get into. But one thing I noticed when I was like planning to make this video, and I was like, obviously I gotta stock this thing with Arrogant Bastard, right? Like, that's what it's all branded for. It is so hard to find now. I went to 4 different stores. 3 of them didn't even have Stone. Granted, I'm like pretty far outside of LA proper. But I eventually found some Stone at Ralph's. No Arrogant Bastard still. They used to have it all the time. I remember like even 10 years ago, you go to any grocery store and they would always have Arrogant Bastard. But there seems to be a drought of Arrogant Bastard now. So I got myself some Stone IPA. All right, so this fridge has a bunch of cool stuff with it. It has a party mode, which will keep it super cold for 6 hours. So like if people are going in and out, it won't screw up the temperature of your beer. It also has turbo mode, which for an hour, it'll basically blast beverages. So like it's right before the party mode when you have warm beer and forgot about it. It gets really cold. It actually gets into the 20s, which is great for when chilling beer down really cold. But it's also got an adjustable thermometer. So you don't have to worry about freezing stuff if you don't want to. The dad in me really loves that it also has a control lock on it. Not that anyone ever comes into the garage where this is going to live, but I like the idea that I can be the dad with a thermostat with it and keep everyone from adjusting my settings. So since there seems to be no Arrogant Bastard in Los Angeles, as far as I can tell, I thought it would be really cool to actually try to make one. So a lot of people know Arrogant Bastard is a super hop heavy, like punch you in the face beer. And what's funny is it's actually not. It's only about, well, at least the recipes that I found are about 67 IBU or so. It's just Chinook, which gives it that like West Coast flavor. And there's no boil hops. Okay, so I'm going off this recipe that I found on the American Homebrewers Association website. I didn't go on Stone's website or anything to see what they say about it because, you know, sometimes clone recipes work out better when they're not exact. But this, you know, this one was posted in the AHA, in their magazine, Zimmergy, I think back in 2011. Oh, also, if you go to this recipe page and you scroll all the way to the bottom, at least for me, there's a photo of my friend on there, Tyler from Brewed Up, the podcast. She's the co-host. So check out their podcast and like go to the link below and see if you see her. I texted her and I was like, hi, I was looking up a clone and saw your beautiful face. The recipe on the Homebrewers Association site, say that 5 times fast, this is for a 5.5 gallon batch, is 12.5 pounds of 2-row or Pilsner, 1.75 pounds of Special B, 8 ounces of 120 Crystal. So that gives it the darker color. Like, it's not a straw colored beer to any degree. It's a deeper caramelly almost color. And then the hop additions are what I find super interesting. So you're going to do 1.75 ounces of Chinook, and that's a 13% alpha acid hop, so it is got a high amount of alpha acids to give it a high IBU, but like, I don't know if there's a way to really calculate what your first wort hops do versus your like boil hops. You would assume they would be pretty similar because they are getting boiled in the end, but they're supposed to give kind of a milder bitterness. So yeah, there's 1.75 ounces of Chinook in the first wort. And then there's only 1 ounce of Chinook in the whirlpool. I'm assuming this is the whirlpool. It's flame out, 0 minutes. So that, according to a lot of calculators, that means there's no IBU added for that, but we all know that's fake. And then it uses a dry English ale yeast. That's kind of surprising because when you think of like a West Coast style IPA, which this is, first of all, when you think of an IPA, you think of dry hopping, right? This doesn't have no dry hops, which is actually how I prefer to make my IPAs, just because whenever I dry hop, I get really weird flavors, like not great. Unless you dry hop with Citra. That's the secret, guys. If you've seen my other videos, you know it's the secret. It's dry hopping with Citra. And I digress. You would think you would use more of an American ale strain, West Coast style ale strain, but you know, Arrogant Bastard was developed so long ago that who knows what yeast was even available back then. It makes sense that you would just kind of use whatever you have, and you do want it dry because it is a moderately heavy malt bill, so you kind of want to dry out all that sugar, especially with the little hop additions that happen. So I'm wondering if it's the dryness as well as the high alpha acid hops that kind of give it that punch you in the face. Like, it literally says, hated by many, loved by few, on the side of this refrigerator. If you've seen the label of an Arrogant Bastard, it basically doesn't want you to drink it. I always found it hilarious, and that's actually why I buy a lot of beers based on the label, but that was specifically why I bought Arrogant Bastard when I first started drinking IPAs, because it was just so in your face, like, you're not gonna like this. Like, I love it. I love cheeky beers. The boil time is actually extended, so it's 90 minutes. So you're gonna cook a lot of that water off. Possibly some caramelization, I guess. I don't know. I never boil anything for 90 minutes. And the original gravity is 1.07, so that means it's going to be about 7% beer, depending on what you get for your final gravity. Yeah, it should be good. I've still got to go buy all my ingredients. Still don't have any base malt, but I'm excited to try this one. I honestly haven't drank an Arrogant Bastard in years, and now that I read what the homebrew clone is, I'm interested in getting my hands on some again, just to see if it's how I remember it, because I always remember it being like heavy hopped. All right, now I gotta find where I'm gonna put this guy. It's pretty heavy. I thought I was gonna put it in the same spot I had my old yeast fridge, but I'm not so sure right now. And of course, I've got the rest of my 6-pack in there. Thanks so much for watching. Check back next week for my brew day video of my Arrogant Bastard clone, and then for the tasting. Hopefully I do it well. It's been really hot here still. It's October and it's 100 degrees in here right now. So we'll see. I'm probably gonna have to run the AC, which I hate doing.